So this video follows straight on from the last video where we applied force, upward force to our cube. And what we're going to do now is apply velocity rather than force, and we'll do that making the cube move forwards rather than upwards. And we'll get it to interact with some other objects in our scene. So first of all, I'm going to go to the scene and I'm going to duplicate the cube and make some other cubes. So I'm going to just click duplicate. Now you'll notice that when this duplicates, it makes a new cube that I'll move, and it also takes with it all of the properties and components that have been added to the cube, which include actually the script and the rigid body. And we actually don't want the script attached, we only want the script attached to our main cube, our central cube here, which I'll just move slightly to the back of that plane. So we want to remove this component on the new cube. So, and to remove a component, I just go click on the little dots, click remove component, and it's gone. We want the rigid body on this new cube, and we actually want a few of these. So I'm just going to duplicate them a little bit, quite a few of them, and arrange them in the scene. So you might want to arrange them in the scene. So I've now added a variety of cubes to my scene, and I'm just going to set up my view like so, and I'm going to also set the camera view up to mimic that by aligning it with this view. And now we'll make some edits to the script. So we'll make the cube move toward these cubes, which all have rigid bodies on them, so we'll respond using gravity when the cube hits them. So to do that, we'll go back to our script, and we're still using the same script, and we actually only need to change one line of the script. So you might recall that our script grabs the rigid body component on the cube that it's attached to, and it uses the spacebar to add force to that rigid body to push it upward. So we're just going to comment out the force line, and this time instead of force we'll add velocity, and that's a property of the rigid body. And this time we are going to tell it to use a vector3 dot forward movement, and we need again to give it a kind of multiplier. So I'm going to times it by this time 13, but I'm going to add on the end of 13 F. And F in Unity C# means a float, and a float is a fraction. In other words, not a whole number. 0.1 would be a float, 0.35 would be a float, and so on. And this is because when this velocity is calculated, there's a good chance it will not be a full and whole number. So, and if I was to just put 13, Unity might get a little bit confused with that. So if I put float, if the result from the velocity calculation is not a whole number, Unity won't complain about that and will use it to calculate the velocity. So we've done that. So the cube now should move forwards rather than upward, and it should collide with the other cubes. And I've just saved the script, and then I'll go back and run my scene. So my scene's now running, and if I hit the space bar with the game view in focus, if I hit the space bar, the cube runs into the other cubes and knocks them, and you could see that they're responding using gravity. If I hit the space bar again, you can see that I can actually move them out of the way. So that's a good example of how you might want to use force and velocity in any kind of interactions that you create.